A new flashpoint is emerging for Scott Morrison's government, and once again, it's on energy policy. The energy sector has accused the government of willful ignorance in its proposal to forcibly break up power companies. The plan, part of its so-called big stick approach, is also causing some alarm in Liberal ranks. Here's political editor Andrew Probyn.
After a difficult week, the Prime Minister's South America bound. Off to Argentina and the swirling complexity of international politics, it might be a relief.
The chaos of the government, the division of the government. When it comes to the Labor Party, whenever they're talking, you know it's fiction.
Next week will be Parliament's last for the year, and the government wants to make it about lowering power prices. We're all familiar with the refrain.
To take a big stick.
If we have to use a big stick, we will.
Prime Minister carries a pretty big stick.
What I call the big stick.
But some worry the desired effect won't come.
What a bill like this would do is introduce a power which would have exactly the opposite effect.
Electricity generators alarmed at the haste with which the government has proceeded. Just under 2 weeks ago, draft legislation was emailed to certain power companies, marked confidential. They were invited to provide feedback on the detail and workability of the laws and given just 3 working days to respond, acknowledging the timeframe is extremely short. The day before submissions were due, companies were warned distribution of the draft legislation would be considered a breach of confidentiality.
We've been extremely disappointed by the rushed and inadequate consultation process.
Obtained by the ABC, the draft bill proposes extraordinary powers of intervention. Power companies found charging too much would be forced to change contracts and publicly shamed. And the Treasurer would have unfettered power to force companies to break up assets for sale, if advised by the ACCC. Powers based on what's of benefit to the public, a definition with wide scope.
The government is willfully ignorant of the far-reaching consequences of its passage.
Labor's already signalled its concern.
It screams sovereign risk.
So has business.
A terrible precedent for other sectors of the economy.
But the Prime Minister says Labor's alternative is worse.
By embracing reckless policies that will continue to drive up electricity prices under the reckless policies of the Labor government.
It's not just the energy and business sectors worried about the so-called big stick. The ABC understands some Liberals are a bit troubled too, believing drastic intervention is contrary to free market principles. But sky-high power prices means there's very little sympathy for energy companies, and the government believes this will trump any philosophical differences. Andrew Probyn, ABC News, Canberra.